Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, and today we will be reviewing The Walking Dead Deluxe number 25 to number 30. Here is the front covers for each issue. And here is the back of each cover. The Walking Dead number 25 to number 30 are all collected in volume number 4, which is the first appearance of the Governor. Here is number 25. Not much happens in this issue. It's just Dale, Rick, Glenn, Tyrese, and Maggie exploring the prison, making sure it's safe. Dale is asking Rick why he is going through it so thoroughly, and he says it is because they are going to have kids running through the halls. Dale says, I can get behind that. A couple pages after that, Glenn and Maggie return with some riot gear armor. Also in this issue, Carol talks about what she did in front of her daughter Sophia, which was slitting her wrists in the last volume. I forget which issue that is, but it was a terrible thing that she did, and she did it because Tyrese cheated on her with Michonne. Rick and Glenn go outside of the prison gates to collect gas from cars that were left there from after the outbreak happened and everybody panicked and tried to get out of the prison. And while they are out there, Glenn spots something, a helicopter. Here's issue number 26. Issue number 26 picks up right after the end of issue number 25. The helicopter crashes and Rick rushes back to the prison to alert Tyrese and the others about what he saw and that he was leaving with Glenn. Michonne ends up joining them. After they leave, Carol is talking to Lori, and she says that she wants to marry her. After that, Rick, Michonne, and Glenn come across the crash site, and they find out that there is somebody who got to the crash site before them, somebody who is closer. Here is issue number 27. This is a very special issue. It is the first appearance of the Governor. Rick, Michonne, and Glenn take off in the direction of the footprints that lead away from the crash site to see if they can find where this little outpost is or where this group of people are. Then after that, we see Lori talking to Carol about what Carol said in the last issue, saying that Carol wants to marry her and Rick. Lori does not like this idea and asks Carol, why are you doing this? Are you thinking of Sophia? Carol flips out and storms out of the room, and this will lead up to something that will happen with Carol in a later issue. Rick, Michonne, and Glenn travel through the wasteland and come across Woodbury. They first meet Martinez, who saves their lives before walkers can eat them, and then they meet the Governor. The Governor takes Rick, Michonne, and Glenn to a room and says that there is a fight going on tonight with walkers. Rick asks what is going on and how he keeps the walkers from attacking the people who are fighting in the pits. The Governor says that they feed the walkers people. They feed them strangers. Here is issue number 28. This is also a very, very important issue. This is an issue that completely changes the story and how Rick as a character will work for the rest of the story. The Governor takes off Rick's hand. After the Governor takes Rick's hand off, he takes Rick to the infirmary so he doesn't die. He also takes his armor. He takes Glenn and locks him up, and takes Michonne and ties her up and does some really, really nasty stuff to her that I cannot say or show on here. It is that bad. The Governor in the comics is really different from the Governor in the show, which I will be making a video about the differences between the two characters very soon. So subscribe if you want to see that. On to the next issue. Here's issue number 29. This is a pretty dark issue here. Rick wakes up not knowing where he is and he tries to escape, but Dr. Stevens finds him. Rick tries to beat up Dr. Stevens, but Alice puts a sedative into Rick, making him fall asleep. After that, the governor takes Glenn and moves him into a, not cell, but kind of like a cell next to Michonne where she is tied up, and Glenn hears all of the things that the governor does to her. Towards the end of this issue, the governor walks up to Rick and Dr. Stevens and talks about how they let Glenn go and said that Glenn told him where the prison is. Also in this issue, we meet the governor's zombie daughter, Penny. He doesn't want to put her down yet and doesn't want to face that he has to do that, so he keeps her tied up in his room and feeds her the remains and stuff that they cut off of humans, including Rick's hand. Right after that, we see the governor's collection of walker heads in fish tanks. Issue number 30 is a change of pace by a little bit. It opens up with a character who we are supposed to think is Glenn running away from the direction of Woodbury. We see what has been going on at the prison and how everybody is worried for Rick, Michonne, and Glenn because they don't know what happened to them. The character who we see at the beginning running away from the direction of Woodbury returns to the prison, and it turns out that it is Tyrese. Right after that page, we see that the governor was lying about releasing Glenn and saying that Glenn told him where the prison is. They only found out about the prison because the governor was thinking about the riot gear that they were wearing. One of his friends, I forget their name, they say to the governor that there are no printings on it, so it is most likely from a prison. So in the last issue, the governor said, your friend told us about the prison, and Rick had a shocked face on him. That was all the governor needed to see that the prison is true. That was Walking Dead Deluxe number 25 to number 30. If you want to see me review the rest of the comic series, make sure to subscribe and like and leave a comment. That is everything for this video. I will see all of you in the next one. See ya.